Good morning, Rabbi Sai. On behalf of the MDY, and for the recognition of everything Shimi does, Shimi Leafman for the organization, MDY Manchester reps Yossi Dahari, Yisrael Kornbluth, Gershon Rose, and Zevi Sinitsky present Shimi and Benji with an arrangement on the occasion of the Bar Mitzvah. Yeshur Koyach. These guys are all superstars. The Olam should learn from Manchester how they do it over there. Joel Pollack, Baruch Hashem. Hello, I'm a big fan. I'm sorry I missed Rabbi Eli in LA. I'm traveling for my new book. Rabbi Isai, I love this email. You know why? Because I haven't heard from Joel in maybe 2 years. I don't know how long. He's been with us for years, and I thought he's gone. Checking in. Once in a while, the Olam needs to check in. Thank you. Hope to catch him next time. He's a very, very famous author, and he wrote a new book. I don't know what this is exactly. Something. I don't know. Okay, Joel. Shkoyach. Rabbi Isai, I just want to mention that Gershon Markowitz is sitting Shiva in Arnov. The reason why I'm mentioning it is because his wife, Zechron Levracha, she pushed him every single morning at 7:15. She made sure that he watches Daf. In fact, the last thing that was on her computer was the Shiur, and he spoke about it during the Hesped. So, one of his relatives, Shabbos Cohen, that comes every single Motsei Shabbos here, is a big part of the Shiur. His son got engaged to the Gilman Mishpacha right here in Revivim. So, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Her father doesn't do MDY yet, but he's working on it. Shabbos Cohen, 500 daf since Rosh Hashanah. Every time he sends me an email, it has a daf count on there. And I did a Dvar Torah this week, actually 2, and I couldn't believe it. 2 emails since I just came out. I don't know when it came out. I did it last night, late at night here, and basically it says, and I never really got any feedback on the Dvar Torah, so shkoyach for the feedback. I appreciate feedback, and I appreciate Dvar Torah if anybody has one, because I'm looking for something to say. It was a beautiful, powerful vart. I forwarded many times. Best regards, Mordechai Rzowski. And from Moshe Lachman from Cedarhurst, he's moisef to what I said. He said, I was talking about being mitzar a person, and we spoke about Aver Lishma the other day. So it was a vart about when it comes to Benel Mechavera, there is no Aver Lishma. So he points out that the Rambam Mechas Deis says that you could be mitzar and almana and yasam for their benefit, but this is not so much an Aver Lishma. I guess what the Rabbi means here, Rabbi to teach yasam Torah, to teach him umnos, to teach him b'derech yishar, how he should behave. However, he concludes that you shouldn't treat him like everyone else, but rather benachas with gir racham and kavod. I believe what the Rabbi is saying is that just like you mechanech your own children, you teach your kid a profession, so you do it the same way with the yasam. So if it means you have to belittle it, you have to punish it, you punish. But I'm talking about like me going over to a yasam and trying to help him out in life and shtaching him. That's also right. Continue bringing Torah to life. Have a great child. Looking forward to Rosh Chodesh Adar when you get roasted. The voice is coming up. What, another 3 days or so? 4 days? Tuesday, Wednesday, one of those days. I'm mamish, not looking forward to it. I do it for the olam, like everything else. It's a sacrifice. Sit here, mamish, in this seat, and get roasted, barabim. And you guys laugh your heads off. Enjoy every second of it. Shkoyach. Good morning, Rebbe Eli. Here is the one and only Guy Levine roasting his world-famous coffee. Talking about roasting. Guy Levine is the one who gave a speech in Manchester Siyum. He just started becoming frum, and he described how the daf changed his life, and I don't think there's a dry eye in the room. It was a very emotional speech, one of the best speeches we had. Here he is, Guy Levine.
Good morning, Rabbi.
Guy, he roasts coffee. Yaakov, please only use my first name if reading, and I guess Yosef made sure I don't know his last name. I started listening to Yeshir Yavamis, love the helpful diagrams. I have a regular Daf Yomi share, I go in person, but I always listen to Yeshir if I miss a day or just need some help with difficult concepts. As a relatively new 5-towner, I especially found that the depictions help make the Daf more relevant and relatable. It also makes my day when I see my Rebbe from OJ. Every day it's something else about Seltzer, Rabbi Seltzer. Rabbi Seltzer, did you know that he's a Rebbe in OJ? You know, he went to not Or Sameach, or Torah, and do you know that he wrote 46 books? Kitzer, and that he was in the choir over there, the Miami Boys Choir. Sitting front row center, your share helps me stay on track. I appreciate all you're doing. Yaakov. Rabbi Isai, the Koilel is sponsored by Anon Ymous from Lakewood. The second sponsor of the Koilel makes supporting Torah strength in Arabic Tachan. The Masechta is sponsored by Maaser. I guess this is the best sponsor of all time. It's a one word. Maaser. The Masechta is sponsored. You tell him how it's done here. Explain to him. That's right. Lili Nishmas Chaya Bas Yosef by Anon Ymous. The sponsor of the month, Shprintzy and Alan Gross. The yahrzeits of our fathers, Shalom Zalman ben Yitz Aizik. And Lili Nishmas ben Yom Aizik ben Tzvi Hirsch HaKohen. Yosef, check out your wording here. It's all backwards today. I don't know why. The MDY family, Lili Nishmas Baruch Helfgad, Zichron L'Bracha ben ybl'c Mordechai Shloima. And the Parnas HaChodesh Lili Nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe. This is the last day of Yossi Klein sponsorship for his great friend, Shalom Burch Yehuda ben Yosef Ycheil Mechel. Please put on your status. Join for Yiddy.com. Yiddy by Yitz Moshel, in honor of R Eli, the Baldman Brothers, Yosef Billyack, Mendi Auerbach, Gershon, Avi Gargir, Tomer, and all the others who make the Shiur happen. Yishkoyach to all of you. The art of the month for complete refuah for Chaim Tzvi ben Leo. Who do we have? We have the Shkoil back. We have you, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name again?
Noam Goodman.
Noam Goodman from Toronto. Rabbi said Noam Goodman in the Toronto Siyum. He ran out in the middle of the Siyum and he bought us like a $2,000 piece that takes my computer and brings it to Gershon. He's here today and he doesn't see the piece. It's very embarrassing. If I would have known, I would have stuck it and pretended that we went hardwire because no matter what we tried, I'm sorry. It didn't go to waste.
Okay.
Even if it was for one day, it was kedai. But we use it for like a half a year. Yishkoyach gadol. Rabbi Isai, when we started the Masechta, all the way in the beginning of the Masechta, the Gemara asks, why is Nazir in Seder Noshim? It should be where? In Kachim. Little do we know that today we're starting a sugi of Kachim. And it's going to go on for a while. Maybe a week, maybe a little bit more. And many people love Kachim. Some people love Kachim more than Agadita. So we'll start from the beginning. Just a very, very basic, what is Kachim? And I think it's very important to know all about Kachim because very soon Mashiach is going to come and we don't want to look like Amaritzim. Just the other night, I was sitting in Chaniche with my chavrusa and a guy came by. He went to Panovich, this guy. And he was chapening me, the usual, typical Panovich guy. Daf Yomi. So without even meaning to, I said, why don't you learn Daf Yomi? It's good for you. Nah, it's not for me. I need lumdus, the whole thing. Fine. I looked at it, I said, what does Tmura mean? He turned colors. He started saying this and that and the other. He had no clue. No clue. He wasn't even close. Tmura, just a simple word, Tmura. It's a bezayin. That's why we're here, and we're going to learn about Tmura, about the 5 chatois that die, just the difference, kachim, kachim, kalim. A lot of people don't even know the types of korbanos, the types of what's going on. It's out. We don't learn in yeshiva, So here's a chance. It's not heavy, but usually when it comes to kachim, there's a lot of psukim, a lot of limudim. That sort of thing. Less stories. This is why Mendi Auerbach loves the Shiur on Kachim, because there's no stories, no jokes. It's serious learning. You say it every morning in davening. Yeah, okay. Fine. So I just made a simple chart here. Very, very simple list. It's really not going to get to the sugya so much, but just to give a little bit of a background. There's 2 categories, kachi kachim and kachim kalim. Kachi kachim is very serious, very chomer. Kachi kalim is a little lighter. We get to eat from it. We get to share in it. So kachi kachim, chatos. Person sins, does an averi b'shoigig, you bring a chatos. Oila is kula Hashem. It goes on the mizbeach. It's It could be an adava, sometimes you chayiv to bring it. Asham. That depends, similar to chatas for Naveira. Sometimes it's Asham Tali, sometimes it's a regular Asham. Shalom Tzibur is in the category of Kachikachim. It's when the community brings Shlamim. Then you have the other category, Kachikalim, Shlamim. We discussed Shlam yesterday. Taida, we know if a person, something like today, we make a Gaimel. If somebody was saved, we have, it's not in the same category, but Avi Gargir is back in the house. He's here in the base medrash. Wow. It's a shminis of a revenge, which Avi does to me. He sings Yom Melech every morning. Shah, the Rebbe, what does he scream? I have to admit, it was kind of geschmack. Walking in, it was quiet. Wow. Not talking about you, Avi Factor. It's a different Avi. Okay, fine. So, Taida, a guy gets out of the hospital from a serious illness. It turns out it wasn't even a big illness. That's the worst part of it. He had a virus and they kept him in the hospital for 2 weeks. No. Things happen. Then they were about to release him like a week ago, and all of a sudden they found an infection that he got in the hospital. Had they not given that? Kids, okay. Baruch Hashem, he's back here. What?
How much did you pay the doctors?
Yeah, I know some people. Anyway, the B'char, Avi, they told me it's Tuesday, this coming Tuesday. I paid per day. The B'char is Kachikalim, Maaser Behema. The firstborn is the B'char, the Maaser Behema every 10th. And then finally you have Korban Pesach. We all know about the Korban Pesach and we eat Korban Pesach. Fine. Says the Gemara, the last line on Chav Daled Amud Beis. Oh, let me just show you this chart real quickly. Why not? There's something called a mincha. It's also a type of a carbon, but it's not an animal. It's flour. And there's a minchas nadava, chayva, saita. We know about the saita. We're going to learn in, what is it? A month and a half, 2 months. A minchas chinuch, the shtei alechem that you bring on Shavuos, the oimer on Pesach, lechem apanim is a type of mincha, and chavitin and sachim. Okay. Then you also have the wines. But that's the general thing. Now there's a lot of halachas. If you have to have certain kavana when you bring the animal. If you have the wrong kavana, that's a whole masechta over there. And then how long each one is eaten for, etc., etc. Who brings what? So it's very, very invalid. Says the Gemara we had in the Mishnah. Eli, and then we just learned also in the Gemara. Eli mais tumim yiplu l'nedava. So mais tumim, here you go again, is a person set aside money for his carbon Nazir, and he didn't specify what it's for, and then he disappeared. He's gone, died, the woman got a afara, whatever it is. Mais tumim. So the halacha is, yiblu l'nedava, you take that money, and you put it in a special fund that goes to fund oilos. Just Keitz HaMizbeach, the extra oilos that when there's slow time on the Mizbeach, we take the oilos from there. Ask the Gemara of Chofayim and Aleph on top. V'aloi dmei chatos, check this out. Is that? No. So a person brought for these chatos oilos shlamim. Oh, here it is. You have money that's not mefurish. You don't know what the money is for. But you designated it for the 3 korbanos that you have to bring, right? Here you go. Chatos, oil, and shlamim. Again, if you want to understand what's going on here, the chatos is an akeva. It's always an akeva, and it's somebody doing tshuva, so he's trying to depict a Baal's tshuva, a couple nose earrings and funny color hair, in the process of tshuva. Oila is Kulal Hashem, a big tzaddik with a white beard. Shlamim is half and half. Some goes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, some goes to you. Great. But in the money, we don't know where the money is and what the money's for. Here, you have a few coins that he didn't specify that this is for shlamim, this is for an oila. But in each coin, you have a little bit of a chatos, a little bit of an oila, and a little bit of shlamim. Ask the Gemara, so what are you supposed to do? How could you take this money and give it towards the oila fund when some of that money is chatos? And chatos we know Can't do anything. What do you do with chatas, Rabbi Yisai? You do this. You bring it to Yam HaMelech. That was that picture. We didn't draw it. That was from the cartoon. Has a bag on the bottom by his feet. He brings the Dmei Chatas to Yam HaMelech. So if he has to go to Yam HaMelech, how could you use it for an oil? Omer Rabbi Yochanan Alochihi ben Nazir. So we're going to see this in the Kachim. You have it a lot, but on today's daf you have what? You have at least twice today. Halacha leMoshe Sinai. This is HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to Moshe Rabbeinu. It's not in the Torah Mefurish, but he gave it to him on Sinai. He said, this is the way it is. When you have a pile of money that a Nazir doesn't know what to do with, take that money, bring it as an oila. In that money there's a little bit of a chatos. Hashem said, that's it. We bring it as an adult. That's Rabbi Yochanan. Rosh Lakish Omar, l'chol nidreim u'l'chol nidvaisam. I think I had the pasuk here, but it's in the wrong place. Here. Oy vavoy. Ish mi beis Yisrael menager b'Yisrael sheyakrav kabon l'chol nidreim u'l'chol nidvaisam asher yikriv Hashem lo'el. I think the way to read the Gemara is reading the pasuk is that l'chol nidreim, when you have these nidarim, like a Nazir is a neder, it becomes, you have left over, it becomes an adava. U'l'chol nidvaisam, it turns into an adava. So it's not halacha mishum Sinai, it's mefurish in the Torah. HaTorah amra, moisar neder yiyel in adava. Anything left over, I don't know why there's people standing in the back. Bring them in, we have chairs over here, over there. HaTorah amra, moisar neder yiyel in adava. So Taisus just points out that we have a process of elimination here. The Torah could not come to tell us what do you do with the extra money for the oila, the extra money for the shlamim. Why? Because if a person has extra money for oila, what happens to that extra money? You buy an oila. If a person has extra money for shlamim, what do you do with the shlamim, with the extra money? Buy shlamim. So why does the Torah say over here that if you have extra money, it should go into a pot for nadava? It must be from the process of elimination. It must be that the Torah is talking about our case of extra money for a Nazir. That's what Taisus explains. So again, Rabbi Yochanan says that I know this idea from Halacha L'Mishmir Sinai. Rish Lakish says I know this idea from a pasuk in the Torah. Bishleim Rabbi Yochanan Amar Alochihi ben Nazir. Amtulachi stumin in mufurashim loy. So anytime you have halacha l'mishim Sinai, it's very easy. This is what Hashem said. You can't put me in a corner. You have a problem, it has a little bit of chatas money in it, Hashem said. What's the difference between if I specified what my money is designated for, or if I didn't specify? That's what Hashem said. That's Rabbi Yochanan. Elo l'Rish Lakish, l'chol nidreim, l'chol nidvaisam. But according to Rish Lakish, why do I differentiate between specific money designed specifically for a chatos and money that's mixed in a pile that's for the chatos? Why do I have to say it's only talking about money I don't know what to do with, which within that money there's a little chatos money, even if the guy said straight out that this money is for chatos, put it in a fund for an oila. Why? Because the Torah says, "L'chol nidreim or l'chol nidvaisam." Take all the nidarim money, whatever you have, all the leftover Nazir money. Some of it is chata, some of it is oila, some of it is shlamim, and put it in the fund for the oila. What's the problem? In other words, where in the pasuk? Take a look at the pasuk for a second. Where in this pasuk does it say anything about mefurash and sasum? Doesn't say anything. It just says all your nether money should be in the dava. If you're learning from a pasuk, Rish Lakish is learning from a pasuk, where does Rish Lakish get this idea to differentiate between a sasum and a mefurish? Rabbi Yochanan doesn't need to have an idea. He just says it's halacha b'Shmir Sinai. Finished. And the story. I can't argue with that. Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu on Har Sinai, only sasum money becomes oila nedava, goes into the fund. And he didn't say it for mefurish. But over here, if I'm going to learn from a pasuk, I need to see it in the pasuk, and I don't see it in the pasuk. Omar Rava, mefurashim le'motzes amros. Says Rava, no, it cannot be referring to mefurish. money that I specifically designated for chatas. Why? Because Tana the Rebbe Shmuel said that you cannot use that kind of money for anything. You have to throw it into Yam HaMelech. Where did Rebbe Shmuel say this? It says in the pasuk, "Rak kodeshecha ashiyu lecha unedarecha." So it says rak only your kachim ashiyu lecha. Let's see if we can find the pasuk here. Oh, so first of all, another chart. The Rosh Hashanah v'timna. The Rishonim bring this Rosh Hashanah down. These are the 5 chatos that die. The 5 chatos that has a child dies. The child, the offspring. You can't do anything with it. I designated this animal for Chil Shabbos b'shoigig, and then this animal had a child, had an offspring, had a baby. What do you do with it? It can't go for my chatos. It must die. Tmuras chatos. Now here's tmura. The concept of tmura. Everybody in this room knows what tmura is, I hope. But to do chazar again, tmura is if I have an animal, I designated an animal as a chatos, and then I felt bad. Even if I felt bad, I said, "Oh, it's a shvach animal. It's very weak. It's skinny. Let me take a larger animal and let me bring that. That will be nicer for HaKadosh Baruch Hu." That second animal has the same halacha as the first animal. They both become chatas, but you cannot be makir the second animal, and your over is the eraisa, and that animal dies. Chatas shemesu b'olel. The mem is if a person designated a chatas and then that person died, you can't bring a carbon chatas for that person. He's already dead. That's it. You have to chaparai when you're alive. You have to do tshuva when you're alive. You can't do tshuva after a person dies. So that chatas must die. You put it in a pen. You don't feed it. It dies. Chatas niskaber b'olel. Same exact idea is that the owner, he didn't realize he lost his animal. He brought another animal instead. So that animal, the second animal became the chatas instead. They brought that on the mizbeach, and all of a sudden you find the first animal, it dies. And chatas shavar shnasa, it was designated at the wrong time. It's already too old now. So you kill it. Fine. This is halacha l'mishum Sinai. It seems like everybody agrees it's halacha l'mishum Sinai. Says the Gemara like this: Rako deshecha sheyu lecha unedarecha. We have a pasuk. Rako deshecha. Here we go. Asheyu lecha unedarecha. Tiso v'asal hamakam sheyivcha Hashem. You nedarim. You bring it up to the Beis Hamikdash. Uvasal hamakam. You should come to the Beis Hamikdash. And then what does it say in the following pasuk? V'asisa elasecha habasar v'adam. What are you going to bring to the Beis Hamikdash? What are you making? The oila, basar, dam, shlama. So we know already. If I ask you, where does it say in the Torah the idea of oila? You should bring the oila to the Beis Hamikdash. Is it over here in Dvarim? Look at this. This is Dvarim, Parshas Rei, Perek Yud Beis, Pasuk Chavav. The entire Vayikra is full of oila, Beis Hamikdash. So what is the Torah telling me over here? You should take your oila and bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. So this is kachim, this drushes, and understanding all the psukim. So obviously it's not to tell us about oila. What is it telling us? It's about the extra oila, the oila that comes afterwards. Okay, somebody did a tmura on oila. He added an oila to the original. Now what do you do with it? So, bivladei kachim ubetmurasam hakosav medaber. The pasuk is talking about when a carbon has a vlad, and when you make a tmura to a carbon. Now let's think about it for a second. An oila. Can an oila have a vlad? No. An oila is a zachar. Oila has to be a zachar. Can't have a vlad. So then this Gemara is referring to the second halacha, the tmura. Somebody took an oila and said, instead of me bringing this little weak sheep, I have a nice gesunta fat sheep. I want that instead of oila. He was over Issa Deraisa, and they both become oila. It seems like the Torah is saying you should bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. By the way, Stam, you can learn for Daf Yomi. There are people that say, look, Daf Yomi is too this, too that, too slow, too fast, I don't get anything. So you know what? I'm gonna exchange it for something else. Instead of me learning Daf Yomi, I'm gonna learn, I don't know what, Mishnayos Yomi. I'm gonna do a different program. That's Aser, Issa Deraisa. What you could do is who Tmuraz? No, not like that. What you do is you leave the Daf Yomi and you add, not to exchange. To exchange is Tmura, to exchange is Issa Deraisa. Add another carbon. This person, if he has a nice fat animal, if he wants, he could take this fat animal and make it a noila. Don't exchange the fat one for the skinny one. If you think it's skinny, Daf Yomi is the fat one. But okay, whatever. Great. Huh? That's bad also. No, some people don't change. They just don't have the time to do lumdus. You can't change. That's not good. If you have the time, you gotta do both. Okay. Says the Gemara, Kedoshim bevladi kachim u'b'timrosim ha'kazim medaber. So what's the vladi kachim? That would be on the shlamim. Shlamim could have kachim, could have a vlad. Matakanosam. So now what do? Tisa uvasa. If you look at the end of the pasuk, right? The pasuk starts. Pasuk chavav. Rako the shechash yulachona dorecha. And what do? Tisa uvasa lamakam yeshivcha Hashem. Bring it to the Beis Hamikdash. Yachal yalim lebeis habchira. V'yimna mehem mayim u'mazayin b'shvil shiyamusu. I don't know what to do. Maybe bring it up to Yerushalayim. That they should die in Yerushalayim. Now, why would I think that? So there's a Tais Rabbeinu Peretz that says that people might think that you're belittling it. It's like you're letting it die, but it's not really Kaddish. So maybe the Torah said, bring it to Yerushalayim, bring it to the Beis Hamikdash to show that it has a lot of Kedusha, but it has to die. Whereas a Chatas, everybody knows has a Kedusha. So I would think you prevent them from having water and sustenance, that they should die. It just, I don't know, as Kimat no Shaykhs of the Sugi, but I think there's something to be learned from the 33 miners that were stuck in Chile, remember? For like almost 70 days, 69 days, 700 feet below ground, without water, without sustenance. They lived there, but they had a little, you need a little drop of water they're able to get from the machines. I don't remember, it dripped. I'm sure as I was reading it, I don't know. I was in the Sragish from it. A guy stuck in a cave, below ground, doesn't know if he's going to live or if anybody knows he's there, for 70 days. And little water, I think they had like cracker or something, a cracker a day per 33 people. And they all came out without a single injury, nothing, zero. They were fine. Unbelievable. Huh?
They can't get wine, they can't get haircuts.
Yeah. That's when people actually say, I will become a Nazir if you save me. That's what we had that in the Gemara also. But yeah, he's asking a good kasha. You're in a place where you just don't have wine, you don't have a barber. Could you become a Nazir? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Says Gemara, Vasisa, Tamaloimar, Vasisa, Oilasecha, Habasar Adam. No. You don't bring it to Yerushalayim to let it die. You bring it to Yerushalayim to put it on the Mizbeach. Vasisa, Oilasecha, Habasar Adam. Loimalach. Kiderech, Sha'atanoig Ba'ila, Nehoig B'tmurasa. What do you do with the Oila? You put it on the Mizbeach. So too, the Tmura of the Oila, the exchange of the Oila that you weren't supposed to do, but you did, put it on the Mizbeach. Kiderech Sha'atanoig B'shlamim, Nehoig B'vladeyim. What do you do with the Shlamim? You put it on the Mizbeach. That's what you should do with the Vlad of the Shlamim. There was a kid that went to Reb Chaim Kanievsky. And he said, I want to feher on kachim. I learned all Mishnayos kachim. You know, kids used to do that. Reb Chaim would take the time and feher. So he said, tell me about the Vlad of a Korban Pesach. So the kid, was a sharp kid, he says, no, there is no Vlad for Korban Pesach. The Korban Pesach, Zachar. So he said, no, there is a Gemara that talks about Mafresh Nekeva Lepischai. There is a concept of somebody that by mistake or on purpose designated a Nekeva, and that Nekeva has a Vlad. Don't be so sure. Okay, whatever, it's one of those things. Akapanim, we know that a Oila not, there's also Mafresh Oila, Mafresh Nekeva Oila, so there is such a thing also. So you see in the Gemara Mefurish, the Gemara talks about a Oila when it comes to Tmura because it doesn't have a Vlad, and it talks about Shlomim and it's Vlad, but Shlomim also has Tmura, obviously, right? Shlomim has both, Oila only has one. Yachal Avlad Chatos Utmuras Osham came. So here you got the Vlad Chatos, Vlad Shlomim, Vlad Osham. Here they are. Vlad Oila, I put that in a separate thing because it shouldn't really exist. It doesn't exist. This is Tmura. Guy has a Korban Chatos and he decides to bring something larger and bigger. That's Tmura. And here you go. This is what we have right now. This is what we're discussing now. You have the Vlad Shlom and Vlad Oil on the right side, Vlad Chatos, Vlad Osham on the left side. We just said, what do you do with the Vlad Shlom and Vlad Oil? Here you go. The Vlad Shlom and Vlad Oil go on the Mizbeach, like their parents. The Oil is Tmura and the Shlomim's Tmura or the Shlomim's mother. Vlad Chatos dies. Vlad Asham, what do you do with the offspring of Asham? What does it say there, Rabbi Isai? That's another concept. If you haven't learned Kachim, welcome. Tirach is the concept. Since Asham and Chatos are very similar, Chatos is Allah Mishmur Sinai, or the Pasuk, it dies. Well, it's Allah Mishmur Sinai, we'll see. It dies. So Asham is whatever you do to Chatos, you take it one step lower, you let it graze, tire achetistayev, you let it graze in a field until it befalls a mum, then you redeem it, and you take the money that you get from the redemption, you take it and you buy oilo with it. Whoa, it's late. Okay. Divrei Rabbi Yishmael. So what's going on here? We just went through this whole thing. So to remind you that Rava is talking here, and Rava is saying that you cannot take the money of the chatos, the mefurish money, and do something with it. You have to throw it out. Why? Because look at it over here. It says mefurish that when you have an actual chatos, the offspring of the chatos dies. So memela, I'm going to use the same logic, says Rava, to the money of a chatas. If the offspring of a chatas, what happens? Tamus, the little baby, Nebach, how can you do that? Put it in a room, it's so not nice. It dies. You have to take your bag of money, I don't care how much it's worth, $1,000, and throw it into the Dead Sea. Rabbi Shmuel didn't say mefurish. Rav is kind of learning. You asked that maybe you should take the mefurish money and do something with it. No. Over here it says mefurish, you can't do anything with it. Okay. Zog the Gemara. You don't have to come on to that. Hareyu oimer. Asham hu. An asham needs to be the original. You can't do tmura to it. You can't add things to it. As is, the way it is, that's the way you put it on the mizbeach. But the tmura of Asham, the exchange of the Asham, that you don't bring to the Mizbeach. Says the Gemara, Ktani Yalem, Lebeis Abchira, Yachol, Ktani Yachol Yalem, Lebeis Abchira. I would think that you take the tmura of a Oila and a Shlamim, or the Vlad of the Shlamim, you bring it up to the Beis HaMikdash, and what do you do over there? I would have such a Havamina. Where do you kill it? I only kill it in the Beis HaMikdash, which is strange, but I would think such a thing. The Pasuk tells us, no, bring it as a carbon. Havlad chatasu the gemirim ba misa. Wait a minute. Only why would I have such a hava amina? What dies? So, go back there, but we don't have to. Wow, it's far away. Here. I missed it? It was somewhere. Oh, here. There are 5 chatas that die. But there's nothing else. This idea of dying is a special halacha that we say by chatas. Why would I have a hava amina that the tmura of a oila and a shlamim die? This is a special halacha by chatas. Ask anybody that ever learned kachim. You say, what dies? Everybody says, chatas. Everybody knows it's a special halacha in chatas. What would even be the hava amina? Says the Gemara, I have a hava amina. Ilav kro hava amina vlad chatas b'chol makoy. Maybe this is where the Taisus Rabbeinu Peretz is better suited, right over here. This halacha of chomish chatois mesois is a special halacha that they could die anywhere. If you have a chatos in Bet Shemesh, it dies in Bet Shemesh. But the tmura of Shlomo Ma'ila, I would think you have to bring it up to Beis Hamikdash. Chamash Mandalai. Okay, no. Says the Gemara. Daf Amud Beis, Sponsor the Chvay Yeshivas Nomat Torah, Yerushalayim Barav, Davar Amin Shlita. Who always encourages us to finish Shas. Let's look for the Magid Shiur, the members of the HBA Group and their families. Amen. Ktani Yochel Avlad Chatos Tmura Sosham Kain. Tamaloi Mar Rak. So we learn from the word rak to exclude the Vlad Chatos and Tmuras Osham. Says the Gemara, Lama Likra, why do I need a pasuk? Hilchas Gemirla, Vlad Chatos Lemisa Ozel. So we have Halacha Meshim Sinai that says Dafka Vlad Chatos. And what? No, what we just answered doesn't fit over here. Hachanami says Gemara Hachanami. Ukra l'asham udasa. And Hachanami. Even Rabbi Shmuel is going to agree that Halach l'Mishmir Sinai Chatas dies, but over here the pasuk comes to say Kra. Well, you ask me why do you need a pasuk? Kra l'asham udasa. Asham. That what? That asham yirachi is start. If a chatas dies, the asham is similar to a chatas, but not as severe. So you let it graze. Says Gemara, asham nami yechas gemirla kol shilu b'chatas meisa basham raya. We have a concept in all of kachim. Anytime you have halacha that we know what to do with the chatas, then the same thing applies to asham, but a little bit less. You let it graze. Raya actually is starve. I don't know how it works exactly. I guess it's common. You let the cow out there, you let the sheep out there. Eventually, you hope that it befalls a mum, because until that point, you can't do anything with it. Once it has a mum, you sell it off, you redeem it, and you take the money and buy a noila. So then why do I need a pasuk for that? Says Gemara, Elo, ybl'c klum. Okay, the Torah said, the Halacha Mishmir says, you shouldn't do anything with it. You should let it graze. No, and if I didn't let it graze, I jumped the gun, I jumped in there and I brought it as a carbon. It's interesting because the pasuk says rak. You should do this and this and that. So doing is an asay. And the asay tells me I should do this for the oil or whatever. So now I know that if I do it for something else, I'm over and I say, I'm over, it's mechlal. It's a lav abo mechlal say, thank you. It's a lav abo mechlal say, that's why you have to come every day. Lav abo mechlal say. I even wrote it down here, but I can't read my own writing. So what does that mean, koim le basei? You're over issa deraisa, and therefore what? Rabbi said, what happens in Kachim? These are basics. See, we're learning so many new ideas in Kachim. What happens if I'm over Issa Deraisa when I bring my carbon? You throw it into the garbage. Throw it into the garbage. It's nothing. It's not a carbon. I can't do anything with it. I can't bring the imurim. I can't do anything with it. Finished. Depends. We'll see. Maybe we'll see. Even today, you might see a little bit of a... Okay. Now, what's very interesting is the Taisus points out, so if I have a pasuk, if I need both, a pasuk and halacha l'Moshe Sinai. So he goes into it. Okay. I need the halacha l'Moshe Sinai to tell us that you're not makriv the extra chatos as an oila. If I have the tmuras chatos, maybe I should bring it as an oila. Okay, so I need both. Right, so we're done with that. New sugya. You don't have to come onto your pasuk. I have my own. It says in the pasuk Asham Hu that an Asham has to be the original. You can't bring a Tmuras Asham. As the Gemara, Lamalikra. I need a pasuk to tell me I can't bring if I took this animal and exchanged it. I need a pasuk to tell me that I can't bring it as a carbon. Gemara Gemirin law Kol Chatas Meisa Basham Raya. Yeah. Over here, that's what before we said that it's coming to tell us there's an assay. But over here we can't answer that. This pasuk is not said in the same positive way like Ra Kodeshecha. Before we said it's an assay. It's a positive commandment. It's a mitzvah assay. Over here not. So why do I need this pasuk? We know Kol Chatas Meisa. Any time a chatas goes to death, what do you do with the asham? You let it graze. Says Gemara Chanam Enochanan. Another halacha. Domer Rav Unomer Rav. Asham shenitak l'riya. Another concept in kachim. Nitak l'riya means that it was detached for riya. Meaning, I have an asham. I detached it. I called up the shepherd, I said, take this guy out of here. Make sure, hint, I need a mum here. Don't take such good care of him. You're not allowed to do that, but you tell the guy, get him out of here. Bring him to graze. Or some Rishonim say, he's already grazing. You put him in the pickup truck, you brought him to graze. Once it's nitak l'riya, it's already grazing. You already started the process of it befalling a mum. So now it switches slightly the category. Up until now, it was also to do anything with him. But now that it's yira starve, it's not just yira. It's not a conceptual. Physically he's already on the pasture. Either he's on the pasture or you called up the guy to take him to the pasture, but he's already there. And then you were over. You couldn't hold yourself back. You had no patience. Yeah? By the way, patience, I'm just thinking I said the word patience. If you want to be in real estate, you need patience. People don't realize. They think, check from the first day. My best property, I didn't make a profit for 15 years. And now it's my best property. Okay, fine. In medicine. Oh yeah, you need patience in medicine, but you also need patience because you have to go to school for 16 and a half years. How many years were you in school, Davi? How many?
He's still in school.
20 years. They held him back 6 years. Whatever, let me say that. Osha. The guy had no patience and he decided he's going to shecht him for an oila. It's kosher. Just one more line. Time of the nida. What time is Motsei Shabbos? What time was it last week? 8:30. This is Motsei Shabbos. Time of the nitak, holei nitak loy. It's only because you detached him, you already brought him to the pasture. But if not. Hold on, we're not done. I just noticed a guest or two. Hold on a second. Where is he? Oh, he's hiding. That's why. Shalom Aleichem, what's your name? What?
Andre from Brazil.
Andre from Brazil. We did meet. We met? We didn't meet? Never. I met a guy from Brazil. Wow. I hope you get together. You make a two-guy group. Shalom Aleichem, you've been doing this year for a while? Since? Make it up. Whatever. Say brachas. 2 years. Give out. Okay, we're almost done. Here we go. And there's somebody else somewhere. I don't know. Hi, guest. Domakro. The time of the nida, it's because it was detached. Domakro. Who? He has to be like the original. Over here, it seems like the Rishonim say it's a deraisa. The Ram Tam says it's the Rabbanon. Rabbi Say, have a wonderful day. Have a good Shabbos. Motsei Shabbos, 8:30.